Hola everyone, this is Brother Benson Media, and today I'm joined with Hon Kennedy Ondiek, all the way from Homa Bay County, and he also stays in Nairobi. My brother, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Ni siku mingi kabla tujaongea. Maisha inakupeleka vipi?
No, we're doing well. In Kenya, we are fine.
Mhm.
Uh, we are pushing everything, and in fact, we believe that our people are understanding that William Ruto initially started to do such things which were in any way interfering with the people's initial expectations.
Mhm.
Uh, that as we speak, they are realizing the importance of having him as the president.
Okay. So
Quite a few people there.
what do you mean by your people?
Despite the people of Kenya, despite the fact that there was numerous challenges at the onset of his governance, what you realize that people are currently feeling the importance of him because actually there's a lot of turnaround in our economy and also in the engagement with the people.
Mm. Okay.
So I think that things are working well, in as much as there are challenges here and there, because actually, even the developed democracies, there are challenges.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll come to that. And maybe to begin with, on your own perspective, maybe you can paint for us a view of the state of the nation, because you've started by mentioning that maybe if you can paint for us that view, maybe citing various areas that you've seen that the administration of President William Ruto has done well as compared to previous years, and areas that you think he should improve on.
Yeah, first of all, when you talk about the state of nation, I believe you are talking about the state of Kenya. How is politics, how is socioeconomics, and how is general governance going on? One, I have to believe, we have all to admit from the onset that our economic growth is at a different level compared to the initial when we started. Different things have been changed. Most of the things have been reorganized. And in fact, the general governance structure of the country has been reorganized. Yesterday, we saw the president swearing in 15 Court of Appeal judges, which, according to the statement he read thereafter in his congratulatory a message to the judges, we confirmed that there's a tremendous change in human resource in the judiciary. And we also confirmed from his speech several other judges who are supposed to be employed in the High Court of Kenya, and also several magistrates and the chief magistrates who have been appointed and currently in service. So you realize that, and also he talked about budgetary addition. In fact, there was an increase in budgetary allocation to the judiciary. He also talked about strengthening independence of judiciary. So while I saw many people try to complain as to why they were sworn in at the State House and not sworn in at the Supreme Court, basically the appeal judges are usually sworn in at the discretion of the president. Usually the venue is chosen by the president either at the State House or at that appointed place by the president as communicated by the head of civil service. So basically that government procedure, and no one has powers by any standards to change it. But when other judges will be sworn in, they will be sworn in like the magistrates are sworn in at the discretion of the chief justice. So that one is the unique nature of the Court of Appeal judges and also the Supreme Court judges. That is the members of the Supreme Court. We also noticed at the State of Nation, you realize that within the very few days we have had a lot of issues that have emanated from the demise of Raila Odinga, and also the situation of ODM as a party. And you realize that the state of our nation is in that we are proceeding to seriously negotiated democracy, where we have the ruling party though having a ruling coalition, but the ruling party UDA is actually on its path to have serious pre-election negotiations with ODM and the affiliated parties. So you realize that as a country, we have sensed that single party is not capable of capturing state power,
Mhm.
and also inclusivity. Because you see, our politics is still galvanized around regions or tribes. So it's a reality which we cannot run away from. And I believe that if we stand with facts and also the truth, then William Ruto is justified as a president to have coalition talks with ODM. And despite that, there are challenges also inside ODM, which I know are being handled by the party leader, Dr. Buru Dinga, and the national chairperson, Governor Gladys Wanga. Those are two thing problems which are in every political party. We just saw DAP Kenya removing their party leader. So in a political party, democracy is part of engagement because it's the D in most political parties. The democratic part is usually very important tenant in any political party. So as a country, we are going through a particular transitional period, and every Kenyan has to admit from every point they speak that our country is is much better if we are inclusive than if we are divisive. And so currently, the nature of politics in the country is in itself ensuring more united nation
Mm.
than a segregated country based on tribal lines, or maybe the wealth line, or maybe the per capita income. So we are moving forward to having a country which is a little bit politically united, politically focused, and develop. And in terms of development, we can mention numerous development projects which are currently being undertaken by the government at different levels through different channels of government, either at the national level or at the county level. So, in my opinion, I believe we are in a trajectory as a country. If it's the state of a nation, then it is positive one. Although there are certain challenges, like what we saw in attack of the church, which even the president really condemned and said that is not acceptable. In the state of democracy that we have today, such is actually retrogressing. The only challenge I have is that the people who are opposing
Mm.
that what is said retrogressive are the same individuals who perpetrated the same in the
Mm.
previous. People like Matiangi, people like Malwa, they have been in numerous regimes which have been so much dangerous. In fact, which have really attacked democracy and have also attacked the rights of individuals. In fact, including the rights of the late Honorable Raila Molo Odinga. Even when Raila was supposed to be president, individuals who are currently claiming to be the united opposition are the ones who actually perpetrated this suffering, making him to lose even when he won. And
Mhm.
so, just but halabaloo in the Kenyan politics, which is actually the norm. So our politics has been there's nothing more they can do or can be done. It's only a matter of focusing towards the next level.
Okay, thank you so much. And you've spoken about something that has always been discussed about tribes, especially when you look at our politics. We agree that our politics are usually tribal, so it depends from what angle you're looking at it, but we all have to agree that our politics, tribal, they are regionals, so that is something that we have to agree. And you talked about the attack that happened in the church. It is not the first time that it was happening. At least the other day we counted there around seven. That has really happened. Some of them, including Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua being in the mix of everything. And this is something that has always happened in the political class going forward as a nation, because we find that the people who are affected are children. Going forward as a nation, how can we solve this? Especially because this happens from the leadership, because I cannot be convinced that this was not planned. Maybe somebody might have planned this, and at the end of the day, the people who might have planned it are people from that region, and it affects the children. Maybe going forward, how can we do politics without experiencing such?
Yeah, we have to look at it in two angles. One,
Yeah.
whether the attack was perpetrated was occasioned by the state machinery as claimed by Gachagua team,
Mm-hmm.
or whether the attack was in-house in the team of Gachagua in its dramatic nature, led by the deputy party leader, who is
Mm-hmm.
the former secretary general of UDA, Malala. Because Malala has proved to this country that is so dramatic. So we don't know when he's actually not acting and
Mm-hmm.
when he's actually acting.
Mm-hmm.
So tear gas or anything. I saw Gachagua telling the inspector general that tear gas cannot be bought from the shops. Yet he had protective gear, including headgear uh, and bulletproof vests. So I don't know whether headgear and bulletproof vests are available in kiosks, because uh, if the tear gas was not available in the kiosks, then I'm sure those headgears and chest gears, or maybe chest vests, could not be available in the market. So it means if he could access the headgear and he could access the vests, then probably he could also access the tear gas, because they are things which are usually found together. So because he had them, so the fact that tear gas was lodged in a church where he was in itself, who was to gain? Now look at. Let us come to the political possibility. As a student, as a student of political science,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with emotion, effect of emotion in election, you realize that when that thing happened, who is actually standing to gain? When every political activity or every political action is taken, then there must be somebody who is likely to benefit. If these people are in a church and they were attacked using tear gas which was lodged in the church,
Mm-hmm.
who was actually likely to benefit? Do you think the government, in any wisdom, would lodge those tear gas? Actually, what was the effect of Gashagua's being in that church? Are we in a state where people are not supposed to have other parties or maybe other political discourses? No. Our country is a country which is subject to Article 38, is a free state where each and every individual can associate with any political formation or party, depending on how they want to exercise that freedom. So if some individuals want to exercise that freedom in associating with Gachagua and so attending a church function with them, and the tear gas is lodged, I am very sure
Mm-hmm.
that from wherever I sit, I am not a security expert, neither am I part of the security team of the state, but
Mm-hmm.
I am very sure the political position I hold as a political analyst and governance expert, you only go and act in a manner that is likely to make you benefit. The government of William Ruto was to enjoy no benefit in attacking those people in the church. Now we look at who was supposed to benefit. It is Gachagua who was trying to play politics of emotions. And he is the one who is likely to have been planning to benefit out of that, so that people can be saying, oh, how can William Ruto and his government attack these people in the church? Because you see, we are having a president who came in the backdrop of allegations that maybe during the post-election violence in 2007, there was an incident which involved persons who were attacked and burnt in the church. So they would wish to bring back such emotions to the people of Kenya through this action, which in itself is not a creation of the state.
Okay.
If they want to claim that the state was involved, then they go further, to have gone further by indicating that such and such and such OCSs were otherwise structured in a way to ensure that that action didn't happen. There is a police, there's a police station around the church where that incident occurred. The members of that station were not part of the team. There is no such mission that can be undertaken by the government security apparatus without involving nearest police station, and
Mhm.
the data show that the members, including the OCS of the nearest police station, wasn't aware of such an incident, and therefore they were only informed, and so they rushed to offer security. So I
Mhm.
can tell you,
Mhm.
to a greater in politics, we always look at when someone acts or some action is taken, then we
Mhm.
must indicate, or we otherwise have to find out who is the likely beneficiary. In this, I stand guided, I
Yeah.
stand challenged, but
Yeah. Mhm.
look at where the benefit would lie. Would the state benefit politically by attacking people in charge? I'm
Mhm.
very sure.
No.
And would people who are in charge, together with these people who are attacked,
Mhm.
benefit through sympathetic understanding of the people by
Mhm.
claiming that they attacked them in the church?
Mhm.
They would benefit. So that is the person who has actually deliberately created that act. I am not having authority to make a determination effectively, but my political, which I know you are interviewing me based on my political thinking,
Yeah.
I stand guided, I stand corrected, but the person who would benefit out of that particular incident is none other than those who are attacked in the church, as
Oh,
no as against the person whom they claim to have attacked them.
okay, thank you so much. With us, we are just sharing, but we've seen, as I told you earlier, what happened, especially in Nyeri, is not the first time that we are seeing this. We saw it during the Right Honorable Prime Minister time. Like it has happened, like almost like around 9 times, 9 to around 7 times, where attack has been on the churches, and our work is to make sure that the children and the mothers of that church should not undergo that, whether it is from the government or it's from the people who wants to benefit. But now, as a good leadership and seeing that Kenyan going forward, such like incidences, especially, is not benefiting everybody, but creating um, a very bad trauma, especially for the young kids, especially, for their being
My
of their.
brother, that's why the president actually rebuked and condemned the incident and instructed the Inspector General of Police, together with all security apparatus, to
Mm,
move with speed to ensure
mm,
that proper investigation is conducted as
mm.
to perpetrated perpetuated such kind of incident. So I think that from the government point of view, because basically when you do security, when you study security, or when you look at criminal law, you realize that you can only discuss an act. Like police officers can only move when an incident has occurred,
Adi.
unless it is intelligence, unless they are intelligence officers. But the security officers can only move where there is an action. Like there was an action in attacking the church, so they were to move with speed as to find out through investigation. So the president made an important pronouncement as to the fact that those persons who caused that particular incident ought to be brought to book and with immediate effect. I think that is all the president could do. I think the president is not an investigator, neither are ministers investigators. So he has ordered the investigating bodies to ensure that they make immediate arrest or immediate investigations as to that for particular action.
Okay, thank you so much. And with us also, we will be waiting to get those reports so that we can share with the people to know who are really the persons behind that. Mheshimiwa, I need to bring you back, especially in your political career, because so many things have happened, especially in your political journey for um, years that I've known you, or the year that we've come. Because like the last when we spoke, you were a member of UDA, and especially coordinating all the events of South Nyanza, which you did very well, and your work was seen because the way you recruited and even how you organized, at least the numbers were swelling during your time as a coordinator. We saw that. Then later, you left UDA and form a Progress Plus Alliance Party, whereby you are the chair, which your recruitment actually did well. You walk around and you are selling your policies and what you want to do for the country. Then last year, you came back to ODM. Maybe to share with us what made all this change of mind and coming back to ODM, where there's some of stand that you took before the death of the Right Honorable Prime Minister, and now we are seeing you are in ODM.
As I indicated, that the constitution that we promulgated in 2010 does provide at Article 38
Yeah.
freedom of association. When you talk about freedom,
Mhm.
freedom, in my understanding of English, is the chance to make personal decision,
Mhm.
personal action, and personal movement. So when you're free, we say that you are having individual capacity to do anything, like including when you are free to associate with any party or any person, then
Mm.
it means you have a personal decision at any instant that you really feel so that you can associate with any party or any person.
Mm.
Just like freedom to elect whether I would attend your show or
Yeah.
not.
Mm.
And that does not make me, I only have my personal reasons as to why I may attend your show or I may not attend your show. And so that one brings me to my political journey.
Mm.
I told you earlier, and when you were telling me about UDA, or when we were discussing about UDA, I told you that I told you that I chose to join UDA simply because when William Ruto became the president,
Mm.
he nominated and so appointed one of our own, Dr. Raymond Omolo, to the government. And as a brother and as a villager, it was only prudent that I use my political strength and acumen
Mm.
to associate with.
Mm.
And so I did associate with UDA. And I think I was very clear in my mind when I said that the process of democratizing Nyanza has been difficult because we have been so much in a single party. But
Mm.
that did not in any way indicate or otherwise show that I cannot, by any standards, later or maybe for any time associate with them. Number two, when I invited most of our people. I was in UDA and that was in government. I was inviting our people that please, for us to get power in future, for us to
Mm.
get presidential power in future, we must try to associate with the government in place. And
Mm.
because I indicated that William Ruto had already showed interest in working with the Luo community, it
Mm.
was just prudent as Luos that we back up our brothers and sisters who are already having an opportunity inside the government so that we could move together towards positioning ourselves with the target of after President William Ruto. And that was my message. And after that, I ensured that our people came to government. And God, by the blessing of God, came the Gen Z movement. So when the reason why I got to form PPA with my brother Arnold Maliba was
Mm.
because when these individuals of ODM initially came into government, they came with a force of trying to eliminate those who initially there because they had the punishing mentality that they wanted to punish whoever had revolted against them, not knowing that these people they were punishing are the ones who paved the way for them to have an easy entry into William Ruto's government. So that is what made some of us a little to frown. But when we had little understanding, because I had to have consultation with the president, I also had to have consultation with people inside the government. And we said that fine, if these individuals from ODM have agreed to join the government, and our intention as a community is to stand around the current government so that we position ourselves for the future leadership, it was only prudent that we get back to join and work with them so that we move forward. And that is why it was practically only possible to
Mm.
join ODM because that is the house which actually is ours. So UDA was a borrowed house, but when now our parents and our relatives have joined, then we have to stand with them. So that's why I chose as a political player
Mm.
that I stand with ODM and I join ODM. Basically, politics in Kenya, people claim, oh, there's ideology, there's ideology. Basically, there's no ideology in Kenyan politics. It is purely interest. It is purely, and nobody can tell you in Kenya that I am standing in UDA or I'm standing in UDA because I believe in it. Nothing. There is no one who believes in anything in Kenya. All of us believe in interest, and the interest I was looking at is the public interest of our Luo community, because within the short time Ruto agreed to work with the Luo community, we have seen numerous development projects which are going on. So I want to say, I'm not tribalist, but I want to say that before I become a Kenyan, my brother, I am a Luo. And in fact, before I become a general Luo, I am from Karachuonyo constituency. And before that, I come from Homa Bay. I come from Kawadgone. I come from my village, which is Gotsamanga, which is Kobado village. So first, I am son of Undie Komuga, who is my father. Number two, because if there are two parents who are standing side by side, I will not go to stand next to somebody's parent. Even if they are all my grandfather, I will only stand with the parent first. After that, I will stand with my villager. For example, if there's my villager who's standing against one from another village, I will stand with him. And when I am out of my village, I will look at my ward. I come from Kibiri ward. That is why I joined Dr. Raymond Omolo, because it's from my village. It's from my ward. So I stood with him next to the president. And outside my ward, I look at constituency. This one comes from Karachuonyo, where I come. If there's a competition between two people, one is coming from Beta and another one is coming from Karachuonyo, I will stand next to the one from Karachuonyo. It goes to all the way up to Homa Bay County. If someone is from Homa Bay County and competing against another one from another county, I will stand with this one from Homa Bay, because charity begins at home. So that is a simple reason why, when we have found all the Luo members are inside broad-based government, and I was joining to work again with President William Ruto, it was only possible that I join and work with them through ODM, because this is the one that is going to give us the negotiating power as a community. Let me tell you, even the Mount Kenya people are talking about Mount Kenya because it is where they come from. Basically, no one wrote a letter to be born in a particular region of Kenya. Neither, even yourself, I don't know where you are born, but I know you come from our area. You did not write a letter to be born in Africa, even though now you work in America. So I'm telling you, everything that happens, there is always east or west, home is always the best. And when it comes to a matter of ODM, PPA, UDA, ODM is always home. And that is where I went back to. And I wrote and said, finally, I am home and I am where my people are.
Okay.
And my people are in ODM, and my people are in government with William Ruto. So that is why it is ODM and William Ruto.
Okay, and I agree with you with what you're saying, because as you know, that there is that freedom of association, the way you said earlier. But based from how your communication has always been, because we saw you as this person who was giving the Luo nation option of freedom of politic freedom, because you are person who criticized the monolithic party that we had, that everything has to go through the Jaramogi family. And you said that eradicating the Odingaism. And now again, we are seeing you are in ODM. So that's why these questions are being asked. And if to work with President William Ruto, it was still possible for you, even with the current, the party that you had earlier, to work with the president, because I see president wants to work with everyone.
I can tell you that for a fact, and as a Luo, Odingaism has ended with what you thought was there. When I talk about Oburu Odinga, for example, being our party leader, it is an agreement which was made by the people and members of the party to make him the party leader. He did not inherit it just like that, but the truth of the matter is this. Sometimes when we look at politics, it reaches a point. Even George Saitoti once said, there comes a time when the nation is more important than an individual. There comes a time when our community is more important than me. There comes a time when our community is more important than what I think. And basically, you can agree with me that it was my position that our community should work alongside the government in place.
Mm.
And that's why I'm telling you that even if we work through ODM,
Yeah.
I am very sure that we are working with the government of the day. And that's why I'm telling you, we are not going to allow any talks that
Mm.
are taking us outside the government. We are going only to entertain those talks which are keeping us close to the government. And whoever is insinuating otherwise or in contradiction of that is
Mhm.
people in our community.
Oh.
We as a Luo community, we are tired of being in opposition. It was not made for us. We are also looking forward to having government services within our regions, like we are already enjoying it. So
Mm.
we are not going to be those luminaries of revolution every time revolution. Let other people also try it. We have done it enough for the
Oh.
sake of Kenya. When it comes to our regional politics, we will look at different aspects. But as we speak,
Mm.
uh, for us to strengthen our place in the broad-based government, we
Mhm.
must focus towards building a strong political party that can negotiate with UDA as a strong political party for the interest of our. But we are not going to stand out or stand aloof and go back to the streets
Mm.
because we shall have an opposition. We are not going back to the opposition. And that is
Oh.
our position as a community. We
Oh.
would rather remain with William Ruto. Those challenges are everybody is suffering. When it is issue of insecurity, it's not only in our villages, it is all over the country. So as long as the state is still not capable of dealing with matters which are pressing to the country, those
Mm.
matters are pressing everywhere, and we are not going to be the people who know how to solve it and tell the president from outside. We will tell the president from inside. So we are not getting out of this. And whoever wants to get out of this should just count himself not part of us. And I'm saying it authoritatively as a politician who also has a little, some serious following in our region.
Mhm.
We are not going to entertain individuals. Things like Sifuna, those people like Sifuna who
Mm.
are claiming to be talking for ODM. They are talking for ODM, and for me, I'm not talking for ODM. I'm talking in ODM. You see,
Okay.
I'm talking ODM and saying that if there is another ODM which is not talking the interest of our community, then let each and every ODM split so that those of Sifuna can talk about lawyer interest. Those others, even the coast ODM people had already talked about coast interest. Even us as Luo community
Mm.
inside ODM, we are also having our interests as a people. Not that the coast people will say sisi kama watu wa pwani, then the western people sisi kama watu wa magharibi. Mule sisi kama Wajaluo pia, we have the right to demand for our rights inside ODM and inside the government of William Ruto.
Okay, but Muesh, we know the main aim of a political party is to form a government. And when you look
Yes.
at ODM has like quite a good population of voters, around 8 million or more than that. That's ODM has. And right now we are seeing this kind of like wrangles, I would say, uh, of ODM. As you go for negotiation with President William Ruto, why can't you put your house in order so that when you go there as a one unit?
The Prime Minister, the late Raila Odinga, told us that there is freedom in democratic environment. And
Mm.
that's why anybody can say his mind.
Mm.
Just like he said, Sefuna can speak his mind. But you see, there's a position of the party.
Mm.
So I also want to tell you that ODM may have the millions you are talking about, but has ODM taken the state power?
No.
No. We are positioning ourselves so that we can capture state power. We are not going to capture state power by keeping on fighting against those who are in power. We have learned it from experience that Raila Odinga had for the whole of his life and Jaramogi had for the whole of his life. You are not going to get into power by fighting non-stop. We are tired of fighting. We are going to relax, position ourselves, and strategize for our rise to the state house. Because basically, my brother, I saw some people saying, oh, when Raila was going to the AUC, oh, now he has gone, oh, who is going to fight for us? Oh, yet, this Raila who has been fighting for them died without being the president. What did they do? So I can tell you that there's something which is called the state capture of government institutions.
Mhm.
If we don't align ourselves with the possible opportunity we have next to the president who is already showing interest in working with us, then there's no any other day we are going to have that better opportunity to come closer to the state power. And so we must look at how we build our energies and focus our strength next to the president in place so that we can move strongly towards capturing state power. And that's now what brings me to the negotiations that we are having ahead of the formation of the coalition between UDA and ODM. It's because we already have a team. When you say your house is not in order, there's no problem. There's no where it is written that every person inside the house has to be comfortable. If then comfort as uncomfortable. If Babu Owino, Sifuna, and their friends are not comfortable, fine, they have freedom of refusal. We are also outside ODM and we have come back. So we are also, so it is just about come and go. And Sifuna also is not the first Secretary General to have been in ODM. Even Ababu Nakamba thought that when he left ODM, it would be the end of it. But what happened? ODM remained ODM. So I am not saying that they should leave. But what I am saying, they should know that as a community, and I want to be very specific, not tribalistic, as a Luo community, we are not going to entertain any person telling us to walk out of government of William Ruto. We are not going to do that. If they feel that there are problems with the government of William Ruto has, then it is them to stay away. But for us, we are not going to be next to this one.
What if what if this could happen? Because from the region where you're talking about, we have those who are for 2 term who are supporting President William Ruto, and those who are against President William Ruto. How then can you generalize that we and our people, that we are all there, or the larger percentage of the people are the people of the 2 term?
Maybe I can say that it comes a time when, as a people, have to just. Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah. What I can tell you about the divergence in the opinion, people may have different viewpoints, and there's also no position that has been officially taken that we are all supposed to support the president. It is only our duty as those who are supporting the president and supporting the 2 term movement to go and talk to them. We can go and talk to them so that they can change their mind, and also they can also rethink their position, because our community has really stayed out of power for so long. And if we continue to behave like if we don't know what has happened, then we have to really reorganize our thinking, because we must all understand that when we are close to government, at least there's a lot that happened to us as a community.
Okay, thank you so much. And that was, let me come now to Homa Bay County. Of late, you've been very active in Homa Bay County. And I don't know whether you are an employee of the county or you are doing the best interest of your county. And again, as we jump into Homa Bay County, we all know by history that you are one of the biggest critics back then of Her Excellency Nyawangaya. You really criticized that, the leadership that she was offering the people of Homa Bay. You also talked about, there was also a time I saw you talking about the contractors who were not paid. And today we are seeing you having a different tune. So maybe you can clarify for us so that then we can go into the specifics of the Homa Bay County.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a little hot in Nairobi. So I was Yeah, one, I have to say, on the perspective of the Homa Bay County government,
Mm,
I come from Homa Bay. I served as a member of County Assembly in Homa Bay, and the truth is that I understand a lot of the running of the county government. And when you look at the county government, there is a budget process.
mm,
And when such budget is to be implemented, you realize that there are different areas, which sometimes you may find that you don't know that they have been done, or based on the budget allocation, either they have been done halfway, or they're yet to be done. So that time when I was talking about the challenges in the Homa Bay County government, I sometimes relied probably on the Auditor General report. We sometimes relied on the budgetary allocation subject to implementation on the ground.
mm,
And also, as a political analyst, I had a duty to investigate. I told you one time that I'm going to go deeply into investigating what actually is going on,
yeah.
which I did. Sometimes, when you get to find out about the truth, then you can come out and say it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, those who didn't know about the elephant, when they were asked, one who touched the trunk said it was very big. One who touched the tail said it was something very thin. And one who touched the leg of the elephant found something looking like a big tree. So each person gave a report as per what they could know. But now, this is the report I want to give you today, that based on my evaluation
Mm,
of the projects which have been undertaken by the county government,
mm,
there is a fact that is very stubborn, which I want all of us to understand.
yeah.
One, the county government budget is only a 15% of 100% of the national government. The national government, therefore, is with 85%. Those days, I used to tell you that county government is doing big projects in the county.
Mm,
Yet, when you look deeply, you realize that the 15% of the county government,
mm,
55% of which is recurrent, and
mm,
only 45 remains for recurrent. Sometimes it goes even to 65%. You realize that the county has 40 wards. For example, when you come to Homo Bay, it has got 40 wards. Each and every one of these wards need services, and also they need capital investment in terms of roads, water infrastructure, health infrastructure, and many others, depending on the 10 departments of the county government.
yeah.
These ones include payment to salaries, it means personal emoluments. It also includes very many other expenditures, including entertainment of different parts, as well as local tea and tea. So you realize that only 35% remains for development. And this has to be distributed in the 40 wards. So you find that a county government can only spend, for example, in a borehole, 3 million, 2 million, 4 million, like for example, in I classes, which are currently being undertaken by the county government in the 40 wards, they could spend 1 to 2 million in an I classroom, because that is what the government can afford. So when comparison was being made as to that Homa Bay County, it is only national government which is working,
Yeah.
we could list what has been done by the national government, but as against the national budget, which is 85%. So that is now why I came to realize that sometimes, even if I was the governor,
Yeah.
it would be difficult to tell anyone that you can take 500 million and invest in one project like the national government can invest, because national government has a lot of money
Mm,
compared to the county
yeah.
government. So uh, if you look at, for example, the PIA in Homa Bay, if
Yeah.
you look at the amount that has been spent on it, that amount you cannot, as a county government, spend. If the county government is the one which was to build the PIA, they
Yeah.
could not build the PIA, because that would consume the whole financial year development budget.
Yeah.
So it became clear to some of us that national government expenditure rate compared to county government expenditure rate are incomparable. And anyone who is struggling to compare what county government is doing vis-a-vis what the county government is doing is simply not remembering that 85% cannot be compared to
to
15%.
okay, I
I
agree. Okay, go ahead.
find I came and said, from what I have seen Gladys Wanga has done in Homa Bay County,
Mm,
together with what is planned, which is currently being undertaken,
yeah.
I can confirm
Mhm,
that what has been done in Homa Bay County is enough to justify the fact that I should support Gladys Wanga for her election and not oppose her, because sometimes, even if it were you, you
mhm,
would want the same favor that we have to do to govern. So that is the position. It's not that I have changed my position so much. It's only that I went I
and
went and looked at facts. I realized that these facts, some of them are not true. Some of them were just fallacies also, because I took my time. If you look at my Facebook timeline,
yeah.
the other day, I went with a team called Aumanya Goro, a
Mhm,
team that we visited Kandiege Level 4 Hostel, a
mhm,
place where I was being told several times that there are no drugs, the services are very poor. But when I reached there personally, and in that video, I saw drugs. I saw large number of drugs. They only told me that malaria drugs may not be there because they are specialized drugs. But
mm,
the normal basic drugs were available. And they could give me the record of how they have been dispatching these drugs. The only problem is that when our people go to the hospital, they are told, oh, maybe you're suffering from this kind of illness, which is specialized, and they cannot offer medication for that. So you must go and source it elsewhere. It is like they feel it
mm.
should be case.
So like
So
when you get such like challenges, because right now you can reach Nyawangaya very easily. Now when you bring kind of the specialized treatment or some of those drugs, what action maybe she will be taking or what action she has taken, that is one. Then secondly, also because you are very
I did not get that.
I'm saying you
I did not get that part.
what you found from your Facebook timeline, because I was watching where you went and found these drugs and the people are complaining that they're not getting drugs. When this message reaches the governor, what action did Her Excellency take, especially to make sure that this drugs reaches the people of Homa Bay?
I don't know what has happened to our sound.
Maybe you can check on your side, because like on my side I can see you. I can maybe
I am not able to get you.
Uh, can you please then log out and come back again?
Hello?
Uh, can you please log out and come back again? We can try it. Uh, what's happening with the sound? Hello, you cannot still get me? Huh. Okay, I think there must be problem on his side, because like on my side, I think you can get me from the comment section on my side. We I think he will come and log again. I don't know what's happening. Maybe on his side. So this we just wanted to talk about Homa Bay County, because like I have very few issues that I want to also to share with him, so that he can also explain to us how it's going to be handled, because there was a processing mill that was launched by the governor. I don't know whether it is still operating. That is Mokwa. I wanted to know about the state of that project and what is going on. I also wanted to know how are they planning to create more revenue, especially in Homa Bay, bearing in mind that Homa Bay is one of those counties that produces very nice and tasty pineapples in the area. Homa Bay is also produce sweet potato in Kabondo. And what has the county government done, especially to make sure that they utilize on this utilize on the things that I've mentioned, so that they can people can generate income? That is something also I wanted to know. I wanted to know also, how are they going to deal with issues to do with fish processing? Because sometimes we find that people are fishing in Homa Bay and they end up um, taken for to Dhika for processing. So those are kind of the issues that I'm still waiting for Moshemiwa to come, and we can discuss about that. Both you are clear. Yes, the only, I think the problem is we cannot on the studio. I I can hear him, but he cannot hear me, so he cannot answer the question. So hopefully, if he can come back, it will be of great deal to us. Thank you, everyone who has joined here. There are quite a number of issues that he has shared about. Let me see. Hello, can you hear me now?
Hey, Koranya, I can get you.
Okay, thank you so much. I think maybe there was a problem with the network. So, there's a question here that I wanted to know the state of this project, because, like, since you are very close to governor, I wanted to know the state of Mokwa, because this was a project that was launched by the governor few years ago. And from the look of things, or from the sources from the ground, this uh, processing mill is not functioning. I don't know what is the state and what could be the problem.
Yeah, I'm supposed to confirm from the Minister of Trade
Mhm.
or Minister for Agriculture, the County Executive Committee member for Agriculture or Trade,
Yeah.
because I do not authoritatively respond to the question, but for the sake of, for the interest of the persons viewing us,
Mm.
I can give my personal understanding, because I come from Homa Bay County, and even if I was to be the governor, this would be the position. One, that one is a concept which was developed,
Okay.
and when it was developed, there were other factors which I think, from my personal view, were slightly overlooked,
Okay.
and that those are the technical reasons which, even if I will be answered by the CEC for Agriculture or Trade,
Mm.
uh, and as a businessman, apart from politics, I do business.
Yeah.
I understand that there's aspect of raw material.
Mhm.
I also understand that there's aspect of the market. But there's a very important factor which I believe was missing in the whole feasibility study, and that was about sustainability.
Mhm.
Sustainability in terms of supply, and
Mm.
sustainability in terms of dispatch. What was the initial plan in how to sustain this mill?
Mm.
Because if some machine stops operating for around 7 months, waiting for the production of another maize circle,
Mm.
and also it has to look for market elsewhere for some particular product which is also very new in the market. So that particular sustenance level was actually not maybe researched, because that is what has caused the current situation
Mm.
in Mokwa. And any consultant who would wish to advise the county government or is researching on behalf of the public would actually be asking himself, what was the initial plan for
Mm.
sustaining meal now that it is in isolated area where maize is only produced once in a year?
Mm.
So when production is only once in a year, we have employees. Maintaining these employees as they wait for maize to be ready once in a year, was it part of the sustainability plan?
Mm.
The feasibility study, was it covering the period, and what was the source of maize to sustain the meal within the period that it doesn't have maize? When you go to Dollar, for example, or when you go to Jogo, for example, you will find that they have silos, and these silos are able to contain maize for as long as they wait for the next harvest. Did they have it as part of the plan in that? So Governor Gladys Wanga only inherited some facility which was already messed at the feasibility stage
Okay.
and was on with it because it is something where the government had invested money. Yet there are some challenges which are glaring in that particular project. So we should go back to the study, go back to the feasibility study, go back to the concept paper, go back to the analysis as to the sustainability, go to environmental analysis, because you cannot talk about a mill that you wanted to run a whole year and you don't have a reservoir. You're only having harvest, which is done once. If you go to that place, we have only a store. A store is not a silo capable of holding large amount of cereals awaiting the milling. So that is part which I want to tell you, even if I was the governor, I would literally fail in sustaining that project because that sustainability aspect was not part of the concept paper. I bring you to the next.
Mm.
It's a new product which was to come to the market. You want to introduce it at a point where it is run by the county government. I'm telling you, have you ever seen even the government of Kenya owning a milling company? Do you
No,
have any milling company which is owned by the government?
no, no.
The project should have had a phase where the government launches it and gives it to a private person to run it. And if you look at the concept paper, it did not have that. I can look for the concept paper and share it with you. So when we look at Mokwa, it is just a political tool which was established quickly by Cyprian Awiti and his government. And when Gladys Wanga came in, she found something which already had consumed the public funds, and she wanted to make it work. But I can tell you that that thing is not sustainable because sustainability is not part of the concept. It did not form part of the feasibility study.
Oh,
So
okay.
that is what I can tell you.
Okay, thank you.
But for the real facts, I can confirm with the county executive committee member for trade and county executive committee member for agriculture so that we find out what actually is the other parts. But from my economic point of view and from my business angle, I know the government cannot run such a mill. That mill must have other sources of raw materials, even as they wait for the local maize to be harvested.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'm still at the trade and agriculture. Maybe if you also will relay this, because this is something that an issue that we've always discussed, me and you, because like when we go home, we pass via Olare. We know very well that Olare in Homa Bay is producing one of the best pineapples, especially in the country. And we've been asking ourselves that why is it that we've not gotten an investor or anybody to come and at least build for us a processing company where can build can construct this pineapple juice so that one can create employment. That is one of them. We have Kabondo that produces sweet potato, and this one shows how Homa Bay is a county with great potential, and we are not seeing this being utilized and even to create value added, especially in the people around with their plans.
Yeah, Homa Bay County conducted investment conference where those opportunities were floated to investors. And in my view, basically, you cannot force investors to come. You can only woo them. You can only tell them how good the opportunities we have are, and they were really informed. The governor, together with the government, conducted one of the best investment conferences ever. And there were so many investors, but at the end, investors have not come. So we cannot force the government to go and pull the investors from wherever they are to come and invest in our pineapple. Because number one, it also comes to that pineapple. When you pass by Olari, you will see pineapples along the road. But when now it comes to the real production, a factory will never be established for 20 acres of pineapple. So maybe these investors come because they always come there, but they do the feasibility study. Just like I told you, this one of Kigoto, the maize mill, is
Yeah.
not sustainable.
Yeah.
So when the government proceeded and constructed that mill there, that
Yeah.
feasibility study did not include the sustainability of that factory during the period when that particular product is still not there. And even when it comes to the pineapple, you will find that it's a private body called Del Monte. Del Monte is not a government institution. There is no any government, whether Kenya or which government, which is processing these things. I
Mm.
saw some like Makueni tried it with mangoes, but it's because mangoes is the largest. There are so many mango trees in Makueni County,
Mm.
and if you look at mango again in Elgeyo Marakwet,
Mm.
but look at the pineapple in Homa Bay. It is in a small area in Kochia and slight part of Kaga. That alone cannot sustain a competent factory. And
Mm.
therefore, the county government can only bring what is called the juice extractor. And
Mm.
if the county government can have a contract with Del Monte, and when Del Monte is to have a contract with you, it comes to the quality of the juice you are going to produce. So there are so many factors, which even if you see those ladies selling those pineapples there, let them just sell, because the quantity that is needed for a sustainable factory
Mm.
might not be what people think. The
Mm.
same as the rabua, that is the pineapple, I mean the potatoes in Kabondo. It is just around Ringa and some places and up to around Chabera. But when now you have to put up a factory to
Okay.
effectively produce, you will require more and more potatoes. You will not go to one farm, 2 acres, and you get potatoes and you run a factory. That is why when you go to sugarcane, there is always part which we call a nuclear, a zone which is taken purely for the production of that crop. Even if you go to Del Monte in Thika, on your way to Meru, you will find that they have a region or not less than 100 acres purely for the planting of that particular crop. In Omabe, if you go there, you'll not even find 30 acres, simply because it is very small agriculture. And I'm not being negative. That
Mm.
is why the investors will not come, because first, the areas where they can turn into their nuclears have got so many settlements. When they want to form a nuclear, then they are going to compensate people largely. So if they look at amount of compensation versus amount of income they will get from that factory and the sustainability, they run away. The same as the potatoes. If you go to Kabondo, you will find that individuals are cultivating potatoes in their farms next to their homes. Those farms are not able to form nucleus of any serious factory. Remember, we always have nucleus, is when we also have outgrowers for sugarcane and other things. So we must be careful. And in fact, my brother, if you go to Del Monte, because Del Monte is the biggest juice producer in this country, you love Del Monte mangoes, you will have Del Monte for the Del Monte apples, pineapples. Is a large tract of land which you cannot get in Kochia
Mm.
alone. And the mechanization will be needed. If you go to our zone, if a factory is to be established and it is to be mechanized, you will find our pineapples are cultivated around the hills, on the hills. Mechanization will be very tricky. So there are certain things which, even if we have them, it's
Mm.
just like having some gold mines. The gold might be there. People say, how can we value add this our gold? Yet it is very petty gold, which no serious miners can come and invest their mining capacity there. So let us look at Mokwa and learn from it, because the
Mm.
truth of the matter is that the maize being produced in that region is not able to sustain the factory. At the same time, sustainability during the period when there is no production matters a lot, because they needed to know where would they get
Yes.
maize when no maize, because the factory cannot stop for 9 months and you expect it to go back running.
But Mweshimiwa, now, the way now you're explaining it, it's making sense, But like when you look, majority of the interviews that have been had, especially to question, even to look into about that facility, nobody gives elaborate explanation the way you're doing it. The way you've given the explanation, convincing somebody who is literate that indeed the people who did feasibility study, or the people who were behind this, they were for political purposes, but not to create employment or um, to that particular area. They were making political mileage. And I think even the people, the advisors who were supposed to advise Her Excellency Wanga by the time she came into office, ought to have not engaged her to go and launch that project. Because from the initial.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I am a pragmatist, my brother. As long as we will always talk politics, governance, and development with me, realize that for me, I don't sugarcoat things. When it is, it is. When it is not, it is not. I can tell you for a fact that any investment that would be to the sustainability of that particular meal and any other factory, yes, nobody can keep campaigning that we will bring. In fact, anyone who wants to run against Gladys Wanga and claims that they are going to bring those factories like the pineapple factory, like the potato factory, some are even talking about banana factory. You see, it depends on which kind of factory they want to bring. Some may want to bring, like somebody might think of bringing a posho mill and thinking that is talking about maize meal. Maize meal is not something. It is something that crashes at least 20 to 50 bags a day. Look at the quantity of harvest which is recorded in that place. And not all farmers are willing to sell their maize to the factory. Some are willing to sell to other traders. So if you look, no factory can be established in this world without having its own nucleus, where the people in Suba, for example, the people in Suba must agree to surrender not less than 1,000 acres of land to that maize mill, so that they can produce it as their nucleus, so that the others move away to be outgrowers. It's when that factory can be sustained, so that the people can supply their maize while this factory has got its own source. Or the government must budget as to go to Kitale and buy maize to sustain that factory. But will it still make sense? If the maize will start coming into that place, people will again say, oh, wanaleta mahindi from nowhere. So that is the politics where sometimes for me I look at interest of the public and private interest coming and interfering with the possible development opportunities. Ask any development expert whether they will accept to go and invest pineapple factory in Kochia. Nobody will do that, because the number of number of pineapples which are produced in the whole season in Umoya, Luaho, and the lower part of Kagan cannot sustain any serious factory unless it is a juice extractor. The same. So I can tell you in summary that while we may have dreams as a people, there are some dreams which are literally dreams. They can't be reality. So in Homa Bay County, Gladys Wanga has made dreams which are possible into reality. Like linking up with the national government to ensure that we have mega projects being done in Homa Bay County. That one is okay. And also implementing the budget as made by the Homa Bay County government, Homa Bay County Assembly, that is okay. And even paying workers. You talked about contractors. You are telling me about contractors. Can I tell you something about contractors today? And I'm going to extract part of the video and I'm going to send to them. I personally took time and met these people who are saying they are contractors who are claiming pending bills. I can tell you, I'm not talking against any of them. Very few of them have got legitimate claims. And some of these legitimate claims are having vouchers which may need re-examination. As a government, you cannot just proceed and pay based on a voucher which has lasted for at least 2 years, a year and a half, 7 years. So some of their vouchers need re-examination and some of their vouchers need revalidation. And when they are called, some of them don't even present these documents. Some are hiding these documents because, one, they did not follow right. Some of them did not follow right procedure of acquiring a contract. Some of them went and did the project is when they regularized it after doing the project. Some of them also did projects by proxies. So you find that it's very difficult, even if you are the paying officer, even if you are the AI holder, to make these payments. Oh, yes, some of them have made claims. I have a list of some of them I can share with you. But the truth of the matter is that some of them are unpayable. I looked into many of them. I met them personally. I talked to them. I asked them, can you pay these documents which you are having? Some of them don't have anything. Some of them are just forming, some of them formed some association there to claim debts which don't even exist. I know some of them have debts which actually exist, but them have also challenges of revalidation, re-evaluation, and re-examination of those. So that is the thing. Because I was being told, let me tell you, I was being given information which was incomplete. I was being told the government is owing us this amount of money, like 200 and something million. But when I went now to check this 200 and something million, I realized that several cases don't even exist in that pending thing. I am factual. I can send to you one of several of those claims which are not even feasible.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Because, like, sometimes when we see issues like that, we will tend to say, okay, what is happening in Oma Bay? But it is good that you've clarified some of the claims should be looked into, and even question on how they got those to do those jobs. That's okay, and I hope you will share with Her Excellency Governor or somebody in charge. So those who did genuine work should be paid, and those who might be trying to defraud or those who might be having some hidden agenda can also, some actions can be taken against them. Now, before we wind up,
I can add something.
Yeah.
Even among those who did genuine jobs, they are being paid. The county government had entered into what they didn't tell us and what they are not telling you, and I want you to tell or ask them is whether have they entered into the payment agreement with the county government and that they are supposed to be paid about 30 million over every period of time. They are being paid. There are individuals who are receiving money. The problem is that when some team receives money, another team runs away and claims that they are not being paid. And when they receive, they keep quiet, another team runs away. So it's just a matter of merry-go-round, which I am very happy government and the governor is handling them. I can tell you it's a serious merry-go-round there because some of them are having fictitious debts. I'm not accusing them. When I say this, some of them will start saying, oh, Ondiek is saying that we don't have genuine debts. There are those who are having genuine debts. There are many who are having fictitious debts. There are many who are just spectators in the field of making noise in claims of pending things which don't even exist. So that is the true position.
Okay, thank you, brother. Before we wind up, we know, and at some point you wanted to run for Homa Bay governor, but from the look of things, seemingly you're not going to run for governing. Are you running for any elective post, or you are not for 2027?
As I speak, I am not running for any elective position. I will be focusing in supporting Governor Gladys Wanga for her re-election and supporting President William Ruto for his re-election. Not every time you have to be in active politics. I have been in active politics. Sometimes you have to take a backseat, but in the process, you'll be part of the game. You're not supposed to run away or maybe leave the journey. I am part of the journey. Gladys Wanga will be, we are also building our platform through our brothers and sisters. At the correct time, we may, or I may run for governor or someone else, or maybe one of our team members will run for governor, but the position is simple. Gladys Wanga has done what is worth commendation, and based on sites which I went and looked into, the last time I talked to you, I was having data which was actually not filtered. Some of them were very wrong. Some of them were terribly misleading. And from what I have experienced and what I'm seeing, if someone is out to challenge Gladys Wanga, then they might challenge her on other things, but not on delivery of projects. Because I can tell you, as I speak today, yesterday she concluded desilting of a serious dam in the place I come from, that is Oboro Dam, is
and it is to the best standard. As we speak today, the grader is working on another one, which is called Kaminolwanyo Dam, to ensure that our people have water. And after that, they will be desilting another one. In fact, they will be digging a dam, which is Kobondo Dam, to ensure our people in West Karachuonyo having water projects. So Gladys is doing what actually I would have wanted to do if I would be governor. So I think it's not reasonable enough to interfere or maybe to just shout after knowing the truth. By the way, when I realized the truth about the contractors, and when I realized about the budgetary constraints and the allocations and what is possible within the county government structures, some people are just talking. I have seen people like Udowi, they were just talking, but I'm telling you the truth. That thing is not possible as some people think. It is not theoretical. When you go to practice, Gladys has tried more than any person can do. In fact, she has done more than even what Cyprian Awiti did in 10 years. And I supported Cyprian Awiti. I was a right-hand man of Cyprian Awiti. But if I compare what Gladys Wanga is now doing versus what Cyprian Awiti did, I'm not blaming Cyprian Awiti, but I'm only saying that what she has done is far much better than what Awiti did in 10 years. Although Awiti took a lot of time in putting up structures, but what Gladys has done in mobilizing resources, ensuring budget consumption or budget utilization, and also community mobilization into different activities. I think whoever wants to run against Gladys should be prepared to get 2%. That is the possibility. In fact, if that person would get 3%, then it would be a different story. But as we speak, Gladys.
Okay, my brother, to us, we want to thank you, and also to say thank you for creating your time to have a conversation with us in matters of Homa Bay and the nation and the Luo nation. And also you can extend our greetings to the county government of Homa Bay. We will be soon visiting them and to confirm all that you are saying, because like when we come, we will come to all these places so that we can confirm that everything that you are saying here are the true finding. I've seen you've posted the photos and you are there. Personally, I can see on your Facebook timeline when the grader and all that Oboro, I was just saying it, you were there personally, and we hope it's going to be completed. It's not like only grader is there for only today, then the following day hakuna grader, tunangoja ikuje, tutakuja kuangalia hayo.
As you have said, I was personally there. Oboro is fully done.
Yeah, okay. Ndakuja na nihakikishe.
And Kaminyolo, even tomorrow I will post. We'll be officially launching the desilting of Kaminolwanyo. Although the grader is already working, but we'll do our official launch tomorrow at around 11 a.m. And then after that, we are going to other dams. Because what our people need now more than anything is not even a road, is a dam for water.
Okay, thank you so much. And maybe your last remarks.
I want to thank each and every individual who has been very genuine in my quest for the truth. Initially, from outside, I used to receive facts which were actually imbalanced. I want to thank, there are individuals, when I thank them like this, they know what actually came out to be the truth. And I also want to stand with the position that as a people, we must galvanize our massive force next to the political party. That is the tool that we have with which we are able to rise to power. And we are supposed to move alongside our party leader, Dr. Buru Dinga, supported by the national chairperson, Governor Gladys Wanga, and the leadership of the party. The wrangles which are in ODM will be short-lived, and I'm very sure that as a community we are going to go back to our initial position and move as a community. We must position ourselves strongly next to William Ruto, and that's why we must support those individuals who are working with the president, including John Bade, Opio Wandai, and PS Dr. Raymond Omolo, so that they can strengthen their position around the president, even as we prepare. And as we also look forward to future, Homa Bay County as a government has myriads of challenges, which is actually common to many counties. But what Gladys Wanga has done as a governor, in my point of view, and as a person who is a potential contender, is that she has done more than we can challenge. And the only thing I can do, or I can ask the people of Homa Bay, is that let us give her time, just like the President William Ruto has asked us to give him time so that he can, because the first part of this governance is supposed to be preparatory part, then now proper implementation part is supposed to be the second term. That is why the constitution was sound enough to give governor 2 terms. Let us give them 2 terms. Let us give President William Ruto a second term. Let us give Governor Gladys Wanga a second term, so that each and every one of them can have opportunity to deliver to the mandate that the constitution has given unto them at the right time. If we want to get to a change, then we'll reorganize our governance, but after 2032. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your time, and I want to thank everybody who was in the comment section, including Anne, Gypsy Connor, Judith Shima, and everyone who commented and shared their view. We really, really appreciate you. This is Brother Benson. See you next time, same place, same time. May God bless you all.